How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Let's go to what they got right at the auction in terms of Salt, Padikkal, the spinners, Krunal, Suyash Sharma. If you have to analyze those decisions now with so much information in the season, what's the biggest tick for you, Sanjay?
The biggest stick for me is that they've gone to experienced Indian players and players who played for the country. Now here you have Krunal Pandya, international experience, Rajat Patidar, same case. Devdutt Padikkal played a couple of tests very recently. So is the case with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So very often teams which have a lot of current or players who represented the country end up doing really well. So I think this is the first time wherein they've got to pick those sort of players and haven't really gone so much into that uncapped Indian players category, and that has worked beautifully for them.
Same question to both of you. Wasim, what's different about this RCB team looking at how their auction
I think they've invested in different departments. Krunal, for that matter, left arm spinner, getting paid so much. He's a good all-rounder, even though his batting hasn't come good, but he's somebody who can come and bat at number 5, number 7, number 8, can chip in. He's done that for MI, but he hasn't done that. Suyash Sharma was a surprise. He's a great pick. Josh Hazelwood, Bhuvi, great buy. So I think they've invested in an all-round team, and not just like yesteryears where they only invested in top half and everything else is dependent on the batting. So I think they've got it right. I think the way they made Rajat Patidar the captain as well, I think that was a big call. Yeah, I remember I was playing the Mushtaq Ali and I got a call from their scouts, how he is captained against us. They won MP won a very tight game. So they kind of, working their way out, because I think Jitesh was also in the contention of leading, but they made Rajat Patidar. So those are the big calls, and I think they've got most of them right.
So RCB scouts called you just to get some information on how has Patidar the captain done when you were coaching against him in Mushtaq Ali.
So that was like, they were very in-depth. Dinesh Karthik was also, played a lot of role, because a lot of their batters were going and, working out with Dinesh. I'm sure most of the other teams also do that, but he spent a lot of time with them.
What did you say, Wasim? When they called you and said, how did Patidar captain? What was your recommendation? Was it a glowing recommendation?
No, I think he did well. So I said what I saw.
That's the weight of Wasim's recommendation.
So they have you to thank in many ways for that big decision.
I just have a little bit of a, not a spin, but then, certainly their approach to auction was obviously looking at 7 matches at the Chinnaswamy Stadium.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of bowling attack that they wanted to choose, because you have Hazelwood, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who swings the ball. Ideally, get a couple of batters early in the power play, because of the Chinnaswamy Stadium, if the pitch is flat, you need wickets in the power play. Otherwise, you're struggling. You're struggling to defend or even look to sort of keep the opposition down. So getting Krunal Pandya, of course, he has the experience. He bowls that much quicker. He's a smart cricketer. He knows how to bowl in the power play. He's done that for Mumbai Indians, for LSG. And of course, he has that wealth of experience of bowling in those areas. One aspect probably going in favor of Suyash Sharma is the speed at which he bowls. At the Chinnaswamy Stadium, if he can bowl slightly back of a length, which is his natural length, maybe that's one of the reasons why they went for a Suyash instead of others. And then you would also think that going by the purse, you would hope that a Suyash would not really go too far away from you at the auction table. So that's one of the reasons. And
they did put in bids for Chahal, but Chahal was obviously going to be a much more expensive leggy.
Expensive, yeah. So they got what they wanted. So probably that was one of the reasons. But at the auction table, if they had gone sort of got a Venkatesh Iyer, because they were really seriously after him, then I don't think any of these conversations would have happened, because you wouldn't have got even Hazelwood or any other.
This is very good that you bring that up, because Mr. Bangar rightly says outcome driven. Everything in T20 cricket is outcome driven. Yes. And while we saw the numbers, Krunal 12 wickets puts him up there with Kuldeep and Noor Ahmed. So he's become an attacking spinner for them, and we're saying what a great well-rounded team they have. But had the auction gone differently, Devdutt Padikkal was in the accelerated round, wasn't he? So would you call that a well-thought plan or just a little bit of luck?
See, at that time, when it gets to that accelerated process, you are literally, you know, running for cover, because you would have thought that, okay, we have missed some players and we need to fill some spots as well. So at that point in time, I think what they were lacking was a left-hander batsman in the top, because having Phil Salt at the top and Virat at the top, Rajat Patidar again, a similar sort of a player, Livingston coming, Jitesh. So they clearly lacked a left-hand option, and that's why they went to Devdutt Padikkal. Having a past experience of how he did well for them must have also weighed in, as also a local boy, because that's always good to have some local flavor to the team as well.
I'm just trying
That's
to.
one grouse that
Please.
I've always had with RCB, that they've never gone after a local local player.
Karnataka player. Yeah.
Throughout the last 10 years, they've been barely any Karnataka player. Sort of having that is a big thing for Karnataka and also for RCB. I mean, you sort of identify, and that's probably one of the emotions that you saw with KL Rahul after that innings, in the last game when they played the RCB.
Yeah, I mean, and Padikkal was someone who made his name here, and you could have thought that's a player we can keep, but I guess you took a decision to let him go based on form, but that's an important aspect, you think?
Yeah, it is.
Create
Extremely.
an identity of the
Karnataka has a great legacy of, doing really well in domestic circuit, and you have enough players to bank on, and unfortunately, someone like even a Vaishak Vijay Kumar, who's now played just that one game for GT, played really well for RCB. He was not retained. He was not. So yes, there's been a bit of a thing, but RCB certainly, with that confidence that Devdutt Padikkal has shown, I think he's flourished under this franchise, and he's really batted really well in the few games that he's had.
I guess that also vindicates their retention policy, where it was just Kohli, Patidar and Yash Dayal, wasn't it? They let Siraj go, and we were thinking, how could you let Siraj go? There was a case perhaps to think of whether they could have had one more overseas just to give them more of a core. But that's a punt that's paid off. A lot of teams that actually kept the core have struggled this year. SRH, CSK, Rajasthan Royals. So RCB, how much would you give their coaching credit in this case? Because a lot of these decisions, I'm sure, have taken even before a captain's appointed.
I mean, Siraj obviously had, he could have been retained for a simple reason that what he had done for them over the years. But again, like Anil Bhai said, if Venki Iyer was bought, a lot of this talk wouldn't have happened. So again, they were lucky they didn't have Venki Iyer, and they had the purse to buy all these players.
Yeah.